Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning. Before I go another step further, before I skip another step, I got to say good morning. Good morning, Captain Leonard. How you doing? Morning, sir.
Good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow family.
Hey, good deal, good deal. We got Badger. Badger, good morning. How you doing, sir?
Good day, everyone.
Good deal, good deal. Now, this is the morning glow. This is our Tuesday. What is this? Tuesday, March the 30th. Man, this year is starting to creep right by us, man. This year is creeping by us. It's
Yes, it
almost April.
is.
It's almost April already, man. It don't take long. When you get to be a certain age, man, it seems when you're young, it seems like time take a long time. But when you get to be a certain age, Leonard, it seems like time just fly by. Just fly by. Is that how it is, Leonard? Because man, it was just
It's
December.
worse than that. Worse than that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, Badger hadn't got to that age yet. See, he don't understand what we're talking about. See, Badger don't know nothing about that.
You just don't want to get to the point where you feel like you're running out of time.
Exactly. Whoa, whoa. See, Leonard, see, you're hurting, you're trying to hurt people this morning. Now, cut that out. Leonard, I need to ask you a question, brother. How sick, demented of a mind do an individual have to be to want to arrest somebody for giving somebody water?
Look, there are some people that are just that horrible. Sometimes you wonder where this stuff comes from. You would have to seriously ask people why do they do certain things. And I'm pretty sure they have some reasonable explanations. Whether or not they're rational or not, I'm not sure. But it would make sense because, being involved with this argument before, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I understand
Mm.
because there are several things there's a lot of ways to do things. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But when you insist on not meeting in the middle and doing whatever it is you want to do, at some point you're going to bump heads with authority.
Yeah. Yeah.
At some point.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe you're speaking about the issue. I'm not sure what issue.
Yeah.
I'm not
You
sure
know.
if you're talking about the exit and entrance ramp issue
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. The kids running back and forth on busy streets and things like that.
No. Actually, I was talking about with this voter situation. They say if you give people water, if they say if they can arrest you for handing out water in the line.
Oh, and the issue with the voting lines.
Yes, sir.
Well, because they think that just because they cheat and they think everybody else cheating. See, because one, having been a deputy for voter registration,
Mm-hmm.
they deem anything you give somebody as a gift to vote.
But somebody's hot standing in the line and you giving them water. You giving them water.
If the person does not care about the person, it doesn't matter.
Mm.
It doesn't. It does not take into consideration that's not even the consideration of the law.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crooked law put in place by a person with a crooked agenda. So, even without going too far back, you shouldn't be paying people to vote.
Yeah. Exactly.
However, you got a whole Congress down there getting paid by corporate America to do their dirty deals.
Mm-hmm.
And what are they doing? Voting for them
Mm-hmm.
for a considerable amount of money. But you worried about a bottle of water.
Exactly. And see, I don't.
That's a white supremacist strategy to make sure that voting is as uncomfortable and is very difficult
Mm-hmm.
for people of color.
Mm. Badger, what do you say to that, Badger? To
I was
arrest somebody, you want to they want to arrest somebody simply because they passing out water because the people in the line are hot. Is that it's a hot day? They're standing in
wait.
the line. and they want to arrest them for that reason.
Wait, what?
Yes, sir.
Is that over there in your state?
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
I'd say leave that state.
But the only way, like I say, it would be a great protest.
Mm-hmm.
Let the sons and daughters of prominent white folks hand that water out.
Yeah. Let's see how many arrests go down.
Let's see who they arrest.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what the police do then.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one of the greatest defenses in the movement, which people don't understand, which we've seen a lot of it this past season, I'll call it, where you had all these young white folks out in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
You see how they were so reserved?
Yeah.
Police.
Mm-hmm.
See how it really didn't matter whether you was stealing or not when the faces was white? Use the same tactic. Use the same tactic. I guarantee you, if little white boys and little white girls were doing it, it wouldn't be an issue.
Badger, do you think there will be a difference there?
I mean, y'all live there. If y'all are saying it will, that's probably what it is then.
No,
I know people, they will attack their organizations if they try to help you.
See, that's just.
I know young white folks in the movement will donate time and resources, but they don't want you to see. They don't want folks to know who's doing it.
I wonder if they're afraid to.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are, because they would lose their support. So let's see what happens. I remember the issue with the bottle of water and things like that when it was on that level. That's why when you mentioned it, I had to clarify. Because one of the heated issues in our city is the young people selling water and things on the streets.
Yeah.
That's a very heated issue. So now when we get to somebody just wanting to pass somebody out a drink in line, now all of a sudden there's some huge threat to voter security. Where have you heard that before? About this huge voter fraud. Where have you heard that before?
That's actually several times. Go ahead.
They always say that. They always act like you cheating on the vote. And they the ones doing all the cheating.
Exactly.
Our own governor.
Ask Kemp. That's all exactly. Ask Kemp. He'll explain it to you how it works.
Like I said, who's cheated more than him? Who's hidden more than him? Who should be under the jail for civil rights violations, specifically about hindering the vote? That ought to be it is a felony, isn't it?
It is a felony. Yes, it is.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Now, how many people have they arrested for that?
Not many.
Okay. So obviously they waiting for some black people to do it.
And what's going on? They making this big to do about this young lady saying that she went in there and broke down the door and tried to kick the door down and stomped on a police officer's foot or sheriff's foot or deputy sheriff's foot or whatever, and they're trying to lock her up. I think that happened here, didn't it?
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, it's a sister black woman, man. She's actually I think she was arrested, and they say only thing, and some of the protesters that was protesting with her say only thing she did was knocked on the door, but they make it seem like she tried to break the door down and like it was a January 6th situation.
Who?
It was on the news this morning.
Oh, I'm not really sure. We had one of our elected officials here who was arrested talking about her issue when she was arrested. I know that Park was arrested.
Yeah, I think that's who it is, because they said she tried to storm the Capitol building, and she tried to do all this and say she tried to do all that and
it was great for the news.
Yeah,
but it was all a lie. It was, and that's the thing people don't understand. A lie, my mother, the old folks used to say, a lie don't care who tell it.
Exactly.
And then y'all believe it. And now it's news. But they have been doing this for some time, and it's amazing how people act like they shouldn't stand up against this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Notice your friends who don't stand up for what's right.
Mm-hmm.
Notice who your friends are.
Yeah.
See, because I don't talk at people like that. I touch the
Mm-hmm.
people around me and talk to them about doing the best they can. And if you're sitting around here and you got too many issues that are contradictory to my freedom, to my people's freedom and ability to do what they would like to do, I'm not fooling with you.
Yeah. It's a problem.
Because you're not for us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what color you are.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Christ told his disciples. Well, what are John the Baptist disciples preaching?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're preaching this kingdom that I'm talking about. If they're not against us, there's no problem.
Mm-hmm.
You can't explain to me how you can vote. How can you support disenfranchising people's vote and expect me to care about you?
Mm.
All the horrible things you've done to my ancestors. And you want me to what? Trust you? Why? Why would anyone do that? So it's more so that not enough people more people still need to stand up. We saw right here where Georgia helped determine who is the president of the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden y'all realize that was just one facet of the plan.
Mm-hmm.
We still, like the one sister said on here on the show, yeah, the icing may be blue.
Yeah. But the inside of the cake.
But the inside of that cake still red. We still have work to do at the state level. Like Miss Cassandra was saying. She's going to go out there with her sign regardless. Because that's what she does.
Ain't going to fight.
And they always doing something terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Always doing something terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to just constantly be aware of that. And when we're talking about revolution, like Rico said yesterday, revolution ain't getting guns and doing nothing. Revolution is changing your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Change your whole mindset about government and your part in it and what it means to you and your community.
Absolutely. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Give us a call. This is not our topic. We're just talking about some of the things that's going on in and around Georgia. And Badger, it's almost like Georgia has a target on its back. They're doing so many different things in Georgia, and I think it might be by design because they're trying to shine a negative light on Georgia because of it didn't go the way they wanted to go in regards to the presidential vote election, I should say. What do you say to that, Badger? Do you think there may be some truth to that?
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to do more research on Georgia and what's going on there.
It's a former Confederate state. They waged war with the Union.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Who do you think they are?
Mm-hmm.
It's still Georgia.
Yeah.
Alabama's still Alabama. Mississippi. Louisiana.
Yeah, it's still folks in power that want to keep things the way they were.
The Mason-Dixon line is real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But see, do you think, Leonard, and do you think some of them old heads, when some of the old heads die off, do you think it'll ever change?
I don't care nothing about them dying off. They need to be voted out. And younger people need to take these positions.
Mm-hmm.
I like I told people, I think I was on this show yesterday when I let folks know, go check out the representatives to see who's working and who not.
Mm-hmm.
If they ain't working, they got to go. If you spend all your time in office changing street names and giving out proclamations to people and all that, you ain't no politician.
Oh man, we got the same thing going on in the county we live in.
I mean, I understand that, but I don't want to look at your record and just see that.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see some substantial legislation that you proposed or co-sponsored with someone to address the issues for which you were elected for.
Mm-hmm.
That's politicians' work. I don't have a problem. People, politicians, I don't care what you call it. You can be mad. It's just a name. They're a politician. They deal in the business of politics. It has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen with or without you.
Exactly. Badger, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Oh, people around in the county I live in are trying to figure out what to do, and they're realizing how corrupt the systems are.
Mm-hmm. But is it something new, or is it something that's been going on for a long time, Badger? There.
Oh, well, as far as all my research, yeah, it's been going on a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But they're starting, from what my wife told me, because she's a part of like one of the local groups, they were looking at the road conditions, and the road conditions here have gotten a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted to see what they could do. And then one of them finally, like reached out and everything to like some of the local folks or folks in seats and went, oh, so we have to find time to show up to these monthly meetings and hope that they pick one of us that show up to talk about the subject or the topic that we want to talk about, be it about roads or whatever. And they're like, so they literally choose what they want to talk about and what they don't want to talk about. We need to vote and get them out of there. And I'm like, are y'all honestly just now seeing this?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Is it that they're not paying attention, or they just don't want to see it?
See, that's the part I've talked to Leonard about it off and on. I'm still like trying to decide in my own head, because for people to say that they're smart and they pay attention to stuff, they've let a lot of things slide.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Leonard, what do you say to that, Leonard? Do you think they just don't want to see it, or is they're blind to it?
Don't want to see what?
Situations that needs to change. Because Badger was talking about a lot of things that has to happen in his state, and a lot of changes that needs to happen with the roads and different things like that. Do you think people just not paying attention? They just so lackadaisical, or they just don't care?
No, the majority of these things, some of these bills are so personal for the people who proposed them, that they may or may not affect some people.
Mm-hmm.
And some people don't see it as affecting them, so they're not concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Like too bad we didn't have a lot more white people concerned about racism back in the 50s and the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Racism wouldn't have lasted as long. Jim Crow wouldn't have lasted as long.
Mm-hmm.
White folks knew it was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But look how long it did go on. There are evil and wicked people among us, and they do evil and wicked things.
Yes.
You know them when you see them. You know them by what they say and what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I can honestly tell you, I'm 50 years old. Whenever I see a group of white men together standing, signing anything,
mm-hmm.
I know it's against the people.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's against the people.
Wow.
Our governor just signed a bill, and it was about what? 8 folks standing, 4 on each side of him as he signs the bill, and this, that, and the other, and every last one of them was white men. You want to have a talk about, remember the picture they took about the huge talks on abortion?
Mm-hmm.
White men making the laws for women and how what they are able to do with their bodies.
Wow.
Not one woman.
Mm-hmm.
So don't act like people don't blah, 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 blah. No, you're letting the evil side win. You're allowing the evil side to win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ain't too many people giving up a fight that they can win.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry. I don't know nothing about that right here.
Mm-hmm. No. No, that ain't gonna. If you can win that fight, you're gonna win the fight. That's just what it is. Now, Badger, what do you say to? I know how passionate you are about men making rules and making laws for women as to what they could do with their bodies. Talk to me, Badger.
Men need to shut up. I was
Mm-hmm.
going to use a lot more words than that, but it's kind of
Yeah.
needs to be PG. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
what's up?
I know how passionate you are about this particular topic right here. So go ahead, brother.
So, you know, me and my wife actually had to decide in that kind of situation. And being in this state of Texas, those laws pretty much already existed
Mm-hmm.
because Texas is in the Bible Belt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, it's, you know, for us, and even much harder for my wife. You know, it was literally choosing, you know, here's these multiple doctors and everything else, and her physical body being in the shape that it was in, 100% chance of death,
Mm.
or the other option.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctors literally, and here's the catch: even though she's such a high risk, they would not let her get get fixed because she
Mm.
was too young. Even though she has cyst issues and many other medical issues that says her getting a hysterectomy is healthy for her.
Mm.
They still refused her because of her age.
Wow.
They said they wouldn't even consider it until she's at least 30 or older.
Mm.
So
Good.
all these laws getting passed is literally telling women to go screw themselves, and they have no rights to do what they feel is right for their own bodies. Women don't make choices just to make them. Most of the women that I've been around, because I don't get involved with the certain types
Mm-hmm.
because of my experiences.
Mm.
You know, but the ones that I've been around, they don't make decisions lightly. They think,
Mm-hmm.
they process, they go through the whole, you know, I've seen them pray, I've seen them give thanks, I've seen them like, it's almost like they're talking to something, you know, creator, God, whatever they're talking to, and literally just weighing, is this what I need to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a difference between need and want.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with the person that's running around spreading their legs all day long, you know, just
Willy-nilly.
getting, yeah, willy nilly. That I
Mm.
kind of have an issue with because to me, that's kind of overkill,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, what situations like what me and my family have had to go through, and some other people, I used to be against abortion until
Mm-hmm.
I experienced what I experienced. And I'm like, okay, there are certain situations, and it's been proven throughout history, that it needs to be done because it's either one or the other. And the likelihood of both surviving, especially in our situation, was so low, my wife made a decision. And
Wow.
I supported her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So these laws to me are nothing but a bunch of hypocritical.
Hey, Badger, let me ask you something. Because
Yeah,
you say your wife made a decision and you support her, and but you said there was also a time where you didn't agree with abortion. How much of a stretch was that for you, to actually get to the point where you say, look here, I see it now, I understand it now, and I support
it's
you in what. Go ahead.
it's literally because I fell into the sheeple mentality back then,
Mm-hmm.
of how people once again using doctrine to say how it's bad, wrong, evil, unmoral, you know, Jesus wouldn't have done it, and so on and so on. And you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, kind of, I fell for it, and
Mm-hmm.
then I woke up.
Mm-hmm.
So it, it mm, I'm trying not to go too far.
No, go ahead, brother.
So there's way too many things that are being done that they're using certain things to back it up, and it's people in power that are corrupting things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've watched so many videos of, you know, people being in the Senate meetings, you know, and I was gobsmacked at, you know, how these men were talking to like like actual doctors that, you know, that does that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get them to break HIPAA laws, and things like that. And I'm like, okay, there's something wrong with that picture there. And then here's this, you know, Karen over there saying how, you know, it's unmoral and it's da 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 da. And I'm like, I bet you if a doctor told her to her face, you know, like what we had to deal with, she'd do it within 30 seconds, where my wife literally had to actually thought about it, thought about risking her life. Well, a person like that would probably do it in a heartbeat because I don't want to die. But it's immoral.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, most of them haven't experienced that stuff, so to me, they don't have a right to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And men definitely don't have a right to say what goes on with a woman's body.
And stand right there for a second, Leonard. What do you say to that, brother? How cocky and arrogant does a man have to be? How cocky and arrogant do a man have to be to think that he can actually tell a woman what to do with her body?
You know why I'm laughing, Raheem?
Mm-hmm.
Women barely citizens themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's how.
Mm.
Women didn't always have the right to vote.
Yeah, you're right. You're
to
right.
own property.
Mm-hmm.
They were nothing more than cattle to half of these men.
Mm.
See, this is why people don't understand. You can get your feelings can be hurt regardless. Your history tells us exactly who you are, what you're doing, and another thing that tells us that is because you ain't stopped doing it.
Come on.
People could forget if you stop doing it.
And see, and that's the ugly reality. They haven't stopped doing it. That's the
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But see, when you have people who are in league to the evil, wicked people just because they got some power,
mm-hmm.
people will go along with it.
Yeah.
Well, they don't. He don't beat me as much now because he or rape me like he did. He rapes his slaves.
Mm.
So he don't beat me as much as he used to. See, because at one point in time, that's the only thing a white woman could do was tell a slave what to do.
See, you said something yesterday. I'm trying to remember the context of what you said. It. You said something about somebody doing something to somebody else's property. I can't remember exactly how you said it, man. I wish I could. You said somebody should be doing something to somebody's property, but you as the neighbor should step in because soon they're gonna be doing the same thing to yours. I can't remember the exact context.
Well, actually, what I said was an African proverb that says, "Beware of the crow that's eating your neighbor's corn today."
There you go.
Because that same crow could be eating your corn tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Why don't we grasp that, man? Because it's as simple as it sounds. It makes so much sense. Why don't we grasp that?
Because even these Christians have misplaced the word neighbor. Okay.
Who is
your neighbor? Your neighbor ain't always your brother. Your neighbor is not always on your side.
Point.
In real life.
Point.
But you assume that whenever it speaks of the neighbor, are you thinking about just the people that live around you? Or the people who actually share your culture?
Well, Leonard, you know what it is, man. Majority of the time when you say neighbor, they think of somebody that's right there next to you, who live next door or on your block, on your street, on your corner. That's what they think about when it comes to a neighbor. But that's not necessarily so. My neighbor could live in California. because we have the same
that's up
mindset.
for debate.
From where I'm sitting, my neighbor could live in California. That could be my
Yeah,
neighbor because we have the same mindset, especially the modern day technology, how it is
yeah,
today. That could be my neighbor. That's my
it's like I
neighbor.
say, and then you can change it as much as you want
Mm-hmm.
and everything, because that's exactly what people do to
Mm-hmm.
justify their own wrongdoing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how the other person on one side your neighbor, but the person that live on the other side not your neighbor, or
Oh,
do
that's
you
not my
get a
neighbor.
choice?
Mm-hmm. Or live on the other side. That ain't my neighbor there.
Right.
I
Me and my neighbor have two completely different views of politics.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that stays next door to me,
Uh-huh.
everything about him is anti me.
Mm-hmm.
But we stand there and talk like two decent human beings. He's the nicest person in the world to me, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He my neighbor,
Exactly.
but that don't mean he can come over here and put his feet up on my coffee table.
Mm-hmm. Who is your neighbor? Is it the one that did the neighborly thing, or who is your neighbor?
Right. And then one, if you my neighbor and you concerned about me, I should be concerned about you. That's
Mm-hmm.
that whole thing about the corn. You got
Mm-hmm.
corn as well. Crows don't care who corn it is. You understand the difference?
As long as they eat and get that belly full.
Crows don't care who corn it is.
Mm-hmm.
When they finish with your neighbor's corn, they
They
coming for
come,
your corn
yeah, because your neighbor corn is gone now.
because they just looking to fill their bellies.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So you have to understand this mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Women ain't nobody to white men.
Mm.
They just proved that when they elected Trump and okayed everything he said. And then you still got them mistresses in league with them white folks. She remember how she was treated.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's still supporting Republican. And you don't hear these white women come up there and got other women mouths just drop open. I can't believe she said that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we do with a black man standing there next to the evil and collaborating with the evil and the wicked one. Oh, he got a lot of great things. Really? It don't even sound right.
Or you talking about your Candace Owens of the world?
It don't even sound right.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a con game to make you not care about somebody else to serve someone else's purposes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we really have to be leery of. It's like, I don't care what LeBron says. My vote is my vote.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron's vote is his vote. I love LeBron's, his work, his community work.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great guy on and off the court. But I just don't vote how he say vote because he LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
I have a stake in this government as well. Whether you got $1 billion or ain't got no dollars,
Mm-hmm.
you can still vote.
You can still vote. They ain't put
See,
no price tag.
that's a democratic concept.
Mm-hmm.
That's so inclusive of everyone. But it wasn't always like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to quit supporting the people that supported all these laws against you because they're still doing it. Their strategy has not changed. We got to quit walking around here like you was just born yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How you grown and don't know what's going on?
Mm.
Unless you got some type of mental retardation or something, and you completely don't even have the physical capabilities to know what's going on.
Absolutely. We got a caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Hamburger.
Hamburger.
Exactly. Lord, look here. Man, I was ready to go into the hamburger thing. I ain't even gonna do it, man. I ain't even gonna do it. But listen, Don, I want to ask you a question, and this is Donald Toussaint from Pascagoula. How you say that thing, Don? Pascagoula.
Are you trying to say Pascagoula?
Appaloosa. No. I'm trying to say Pascagoula. Yeah, Pascagoula.
I ain't from no Pascagoula. I just live here.
Okay.
Appaloosas.
Appaloosa.
No.
Appaloosa.
You're hard headed.
Just go on, man.
Just
go on.
keep it moving. Just keep it moving. But what we're talking about what we're talking about right now is what we started off talking about how evil do a person have to be to want to arrest somebody with a misdemeanor for passing out water. And we're talking about, they passed this thing in Georgia that if you pass out water to people that's voting in the lines, if the lines are long and you pass out water, they're going to arrest you with a misdemeanor. Now, how evil do you have to be to want to arrest somebody for passing out water?
There are certain people that have always and will always pass down an agenda from generation to generation to make sure or try to give the idea that they are superior in some kind of a way or another. And they want to, their desire is to dictate their mentality, no matter what, and manipulate to whatever cost. And so they will lock the door and have their secret meetings, even if it's not in a place that is supposed to be secret. Because I don't know. I saw the arrests, and I saw that, and I don't know if you But how my question is, how do we allow this? Because if you can't, I know you can't just walk in the office, but it's not against the law to knock at the door. Period.
Exactly.
She didn't kick the door down. She didn't push nobody. She didn't force her way in.
Well, they say she stepped on the deputy's foot. They said she stepped on the deputy's foot and hurt his foot.
If his foot was, oh really? Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh really? Well, they need to replay that because I didn't see that. I missed it. So she just stomped on his foot or what?
Well, they're trying to say that
did she get a?
Huh?
Did she assault him? There was a arrest for assault.
That's what they're trying to say, and then the governor here came out and said how appalling it is that a state representative would go attack a police officer and harm his foot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. So now, how do you? That's what we cheer ourselves on. I think Leonard was talking about we won the election and we poured out an election in the presidential, poured out through the voting in the presidential. That don't mean nothing. That ain't about a hill of beans. You get these judges and these lawyers and these prosecutors and these governors and these mayors out of office, and stop electing these chiefs of police. I don't know if chief police is elected or selected, but whatever the case may be, you got a hand in it. And these counselors and these all your local folks, they ain't by the quarter. That dictate behind the scene, and then they have their children running for office, and we put them in place because we don't show up for the voting. And these little laws that get established by us just, hey, they got it. They're giving out cookies, and I just say cookies. We like when folk give us something. You don't have to give me nothing.
Exactly.
I see you when you come, and then and I'm gonna shut up. We let them come to our church, and they come straight to the pulpit. Now
Mm-hmm.
they preachers.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
not saying, I think personally they need to tear all the pulpits down. Yeah, everybody sit in the audience. That's me.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
I just found a website that's got a bunch of petitions in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that probably needs to get passed around. That, and that's one thing that I think a lot of people don't know is, you can do petitions and things like that to get people out of office and all kinds of use you people need to learn how to use the laws that are already established
Mm-hmm.
against them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Now, gentlemen, we're going to catapult into our topic for today. We're going to catapult into our topic for today. We're going to talk on that for a while. We may transition actually back to another subject in a little bit, but I want to know this. And Tucson, I'm coming to you first. What is the thing that most people, not necessarily ourselves, or you can say from a personal standpoint, but out of these three, what do you think most people would gravitate to? Fortune, fame, or favor?
Most people like fame
Mm-hmm.
because if you notice on social media, people even will embarrass themselves to get views
Mm-hmm.
and likes. Check it
Mm-hmm.
out.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get a dime for it.
Yeah.
They get in the street and fight. They get butt naked.
Get butt,
They
get
run down the
naked.
street looking
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shake a tail feather, get on a pole,
Mm-hmm.
um, and go as far. And I wanted to say something, and I'm gonna say it anyway because people are nasty and
Mm-hmm.
evil, and it don't make no sense. Because if they can get it, like they'll get on social media and breed their dog.
Mm.
They breed their dog, not have their dog bred.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
I'm just saying,
Good Lord.
people are for fame.
Mm.
Check it out. You go on social media right now. There are people that have you ain't heard a word from, and everybody got a platform. They have people. Oh, I got a word from the Lord. You need to tune in,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not talking about nothing. They're not talking about nothing, and people are flocking around them.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to shut up, but look, even to the point where, and I don't want to make no big deal out of this. Just an example. They will cause their father to cuss them out like a dog
Mm-hmm.
and embarrass the whole family. All the work that has been done, regardless to because you make me mad enough, and my son will, which I don't think they would. I would hope they wouldn't do that. I give him a good cussing too. I'm gonna just
Mm-hmm.
tell you.
Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. Lay down the law.
I would.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you. So, but just for fame, a moment of fame, we'll risk it all.
Mm. Wow. Badger, what do you say to that, Badger? What do you think most people would flock to? Fortune, fame, or favor? Badger?
Do what?
What do you think most people would flock to? Fortune, fame, or favor?
Fortune.
Mm-hmm. Why do you
That
say?
greed, that greed virus is too strong. There's too many people that have that fortune and power that use it to influence laws and corruption and all kinds of things, and most people think that they need it to actually make a difference or to get what they want.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So most people will flock toward the fortune, toward the money.
Yeah, that's my
Mm.
opinion.
Okay. We're gonna go a little deeper. I'm gonna get Leonard's assessment on it, and we're gonna go a little deeper into this whole conversation. But Leonard, what do you say? Fortune, fame, or favor? What do you think most people, not necessarily us, but most people, what would they flock to?
Well, I don't know about most people. I know I'm going for the fortune.
Mm-hmm.
But I know there are some people that just love fame that much. They want to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care nothing about that.
Mm-hmm.
With fame, fortune, what was the other one you said? Favor?
Favor, yes, sir.
Whose favor?
God's favor.
Oh, God's favor is automatic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's and you know that's another show. But
Hey, don't tell him what Leonard was about to go. Just
I had to put some cut on it. Excuse me.
oh,
But you know, fortune.
mm-hmm.
You know, I'm probably very different than the majority of the people on the show
Mm-hmm.
because of some other shows that we've had. Man, y'all can do all that feeling stuff if y'all want to. I don't care nothing about how you feel about me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what you think or what you say. You've been talking about me and I've been broke. Why not let you talk about me and be rich?
We say we can work this out real good.
You didn't care nothing about me when I ain't had nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about me like a dog for no reason. But the fact that you just didn't like me.
Yeah.
That's okay. I can sit over here with this money and not have your favor or your fame.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look how people with fame can be easily lied on and lose everything they had.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what fame does. Or how they talk about they can't go nowhere without being noticed and people turning it into something else.
Mm-hmm. And you have so many people in the industry, man, and that's right. One of their biggest complaints. That's one of their biggest complaints right there. I can't go nowhere. Where can
everybody watching you now? You can't cut up like you used to because everybody watching you now. Because you famous.
A lot of them say that what they do is they go overseas, man. It's a little more lackadaisical over there.
Right.
They just go but you know, why do you have to go so far just to have a normal life?
Because y'all so infatuated with them.
They know y'all.
You know, a lot of people, I mean, that's one thing I've always been conscious of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't run behind people.
No.
I'm just going to put this, as much as I love Prince, used to love Prince.
Yeah.
I'm not chasing him nowhere.
No.
I don't have to be. I mean, I know some people, they so full on this celebrity thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting.
Mm-hmm. And Leonard, you know, I ain't gotta talk about it too much, but you know, I know quite a few celebrities, man. I know quite a few of them, and I don't chase them behind them and all that stuff, man. You know, I call them, let's do an interview. We do an interview, and they won't hear from me for 6 months or a year or something like that. They just won't hear from me because I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. I'm not, you know, that's just some people will do it. Hey man, man, look, you never 9 times out of 10, you'll never even hear me call their name, man.
Because I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people, that's why I get pointed out as being not so sensitive and things like, because I see how other people act,
and
I adjust myself accordingly. Because it's just certain people. I mean, it has gotten to the point now. If you hear somebody say, "I don't really like people," what do you mean? You can't just say you don't. You're a people.
Yeah.
So I mean, how are you so different that you exclude everybody else that way? So we have to look at that. You know, you people need psychologies. Fortune, I need tools. Money is a tool to me. So I don't have no, like, you know, I hear people, I don't know why Christians preach against money. I don't even know why they hate people with money so much, or they act like some people are just evil because of the money, or usually that person was evil when they was broke.
Yep. Ain't nothing different. Ain't nothing
I
different.
don't think it was the money that made them evil. They was evil anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we have to really put everything. I like to put things in perspective. I don't just like to throw people under the bus, without knowing, what is actually going on. But too many people come together, the bandwagon, that's what they call it, right? The
Yeah.
bandwagon thing.
Jump on that bandwagon. Mm-hmm.
They don't even care what's going on. But what's going on? Man, if a whole bunch of stuff going on over there, guess where Leonard Jones is at? Oh, somewhere else. I'm not fooling with y'all like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, a club will be packed with women swearing that if he see her, she the one.
Mm.
Come on, man, really?
That could be your whole detriment right there. The one that you think is the one, that's your whole detriment.
It's like that whole the Bachelor show series and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. A woman got how many men?
Mm. And she get to
And
pick
now,
and choose.
yeah.
Just
Or
be
a
as nasty
man got
as you wanna
all
be.
these women throwing himself at them.
Just be as nasty as you want to
You
be.
trying to get used.
Yeah. Mhm. Exactly. Badger, what's on your heart, Badger? Talk to me, brother.
Hmm. I words. Words are so potent nowadays. Hmm. Trying to figure out how to say what's on my mind. The whole thing about the opinions I have about corruption, folks in power, things of that nature. That's I even talked about this with Leonard. I have an issue with the terminology white supremacy,
Mm-hmm.
but it isn't due to my color. To me, it's more of not focusing on the mentality of certain things. And I can understand how it's a terminology that's used now to attack certain mentalities, but to me, it's not just white folks that have it.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, calling it by one thing doesn't really generalize it. It misses a lot of the issues, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
There's way too many people in power or in certain situations, that are toxic human beings.
Mm-hmm.
They take, honestly, in my opinion, it honestly seems like they enjoy using or taking advantage of other people to get ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of people
And
that is like that. Absolutely.
so it's, which to me is where the money aspect comes in, because most of it's so that way they can earn those extra bucks. There's CEOs of companies of every color, pretty much, and here they are pretty much screwing us over every day on cost of living, taxes, materials to even be able to build anything. Like, we talked the one Friday about how what it takes to make something versus what it costs to buy it now
Mm-hmm.
is such a huge gap. Not only have you already paid for the materials, you've paid for a person's time of however long it took to make it, but then you're paying even more so to put money in the pockets of those bigger guys.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a vicious cycle.
How do we break that cycle?
folks need to learn to quit being so egotistical and work on that want virus. You know, focus on what you need, not what you want.
That's good. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Give us a call. We're talking about fortune, fame, or favor. What do you think most people would lean toward? Fortune, fame, or favor? When I say favor, I'm talking about God's favor. And which one would they lean to the most in this day and time? Donna, are you back with us?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm glad you came back to me, because when you say God's favor, give me that. I'm not talking about nobody else. I ain't worried about no money, because money will probably change me. Because I know me, and I'll stop fooling with a lot of folks, and you'll never see me again.
You won't disappear on them, would you? Houdini.
Oh, yeah. I'm talking about children there. If I ever get to the point where I can get where beyond, it has to be enough to give you something that you can have a one-time lump sum. That here's yours. You're not getting no more, because I'm gonna mail it to you with a no return address. That's how I'm operating. And I will.
You ain't gonna do that.
Point on.
You ain't gonna do that, dog.
Yes, I will. A two-seater car, 2 forks, 2 spoons, 2 knives, and a love seat. Because I don't need no guests.
Yeah. You don't want a couch. You just want a love seat. You don't want a couch. You want a love seat.
I don't want no couch. You got to sit there. Too many can sit there.
Leonard, you hear this here, man? You hear this, Leonard?
Just say.
Okay. So you rather have God's favor?
Oh yeah, favor is fair. There's somebody lied and come up with the thing that favor ain't fair. Yes, it is. You think that he won't take care of his own? Oh, it's fair. Because people that reject him, why should he give them all a favor? I'm just saying. The favor of God. Just imagine the Creator giving you favor. He'll bring you in front of people that you never thought you was. He'll bring you to places that you never thought.
Yeah.
He'll give you things that money can't buy.
Come on.
Just by his favor. I'm telling you, the favor of God open doors that nobody, no matter who they are, the devil in hell, can't close them. And then close some doors. That these people that try to dig ditches, just close them out. Close that door. And no matter whether they try to kick the door down, they'll be like the wolf outside, huffing and puffing. But you're in the brick house. You can't come in. I'm just saying.
Can't come
Something
in.
about the favor of God that money and fame can't never do.
Exactly.
Will never do.
Would never do. Absolutely. Leonard, what do you say to that? Donna said he'd rather have the favor of God over the money.
That's why I wanted you to clarify it in the beginning. You have to say the favor of God.
Yes, sir.
Not just favor. It's completely 2 different things. God's favor, like I said before. Once I realized you was talking about God's favor, that's
your whole concept changed. Yeah, and I heard when you said that your concept changed.
Right. So because there are certain men that have favorites too. So that's different than God's favor. And so you can't even put that in there with that. Just favor itself.
It's so unfair. Yeah.
Exactly. It's unfair. That's unfair to do, but it's like I said, it depends on your perspective of things.
Leonard, I'm not gonna call the person's name, but you was there on Real Men Being Men one evening. This was about a year and a half ago, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. I asked her, it was a bishop that was actually in the studio with us, and I asked him, was it at the other location? And I asked him, I said, what would you rather have, $1 million or God's favor? And shocked me. It really shocked me, his answer. But he said, give me the $1 million, and try to explain to me why he would take the $1 million over God's favor. And I couldn't agree with it. And that one time, we actually had a little heated conversation because I couldn't get with that. But go ahead. But I think you know that. I think you remember that night when it happened.
I
And
think
who it
so.
was.
I understand both points of view.
Mm-hmm.
God's favor is very subjective.
Mm-hmm.
You can't command that. You have no control whatsoever of that
Mm-hmm.
at all. You can't even use it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that thing where, especially a man of God who says that,
Yeah.
obviously understands that the favor principle of God is
Mm-hmm.
very subjective. There's just not enough known about it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know where it's coming from. You don't know where it's going to end. You don't know why you getting it. You really don't know anything about it,
Mm-hmm.
except for when something happens. God's favor is not a thought.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that belongs to God. No man dictates that.
Yeah.
So that's why to me it's unfair, and I would understand why a bishop would say that,
Mm-hmm.
because as a man of God, a studier, usually a bishop has knowledge of theology and all these types of things. He realizes that the notion of God's favor could be assigned to anything,
Mm-hmm.
anything that you think it may be, but that money definite.
But see, my thing is right here though. Just like Donald said, if you have God's favor, it can open the doors and afford you things that money can't buy you though.
Like I said, we put in God we trust on the money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
And don't nobody trust God.
I'm just saying it's on your money.
Mm-hmm.
It's on your money.
Mm-hmm.
And God we trust is on your money.
Mm-hmm. But do we really trust him?
Now,
Imagine
if you write God's favor on any other piece of paper, or in God we trust on anything else, and hand it to somebody, you're not getting what they selling. You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
You can go in there and say, and beg for your food. And you can pray to God that somebody blesses you.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can take some money in there and buy some food.
Can you imagine going into the restaurant, going to a fancy restaurant, and well, this ain't the fanciest restaurant, but say you go to a Papa Do's and order everything that you want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they bring you the food. You know, you order, they bring you the food. That they give you the ticket at the end, and on the back of the ticket, you turn it over, and you write God's favor, and send it back.
You'll be sitting in jail with God's favor. And you don't want me to be the deputy. It's about time for y'all to start praying for them chains to fall off, huh? What was your bail now? What was your bail now? Excuse me, what was your bail? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But
There's
hold
a
on.
difference.
I wrote God's favor on back of the on back of the seat. I
You
wrote
believe God all you want, and you don't went out here and did something you ain't had no business doing.
Mm-hmm.
Why you ain't believe God did?
But see, what's the now? See, this piece of paper that I wrote God's favor on back of should be more valuable than that piece of paper right there. Both of them are paper.
I
Both of
tell
them are
you
paper.
what, I'm gonna bring a piece of paper in there to you tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
and I want you to give me everything you've invested.
Mm-hmm. You gonna write God's favor on the back of it?
Did you know? And I'm gonna give it to you. And in exchange for that, I want you to give me everything you own.
Mm.
That's a serious concept.
But see, somewhere I read what Jesus said, give away all your worldly possessions and follow me.
Exactly. And I tell you, I know where y'all can put them while y'all following Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Where can
Y'all
they
can
put
put them in my basement.
give away all? we know how that story played itself out. Give away all your worldly possessions and follow me.
It's not that you actually had to do it. It's the fact that one, God knew that the man didn't have that much desire in his
Mm-hmm.
heart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, when you get
Exactly.
to talking about God's favor, there's no definite. There's no
Mm-hmm.
definition.
But I'm gonna tell you something, Leonard, and I understand what you're saying, and I'm not gonna say whether I agree or disagree. But what I will say is this: me personally, and a lot of times I don't answer the questions that we have. I would rather have. I don't care. You can bring a truckload full of money and park
Okay.
at this, Raheem. That's yours. You can have this money, or you can have God's favor. I say take that money on what you got it for.
You got to be better. You keep God's favor, but give them my address.
I tell the kid, Badger,
That
what?
was God's favor.
Come on, Tucson, because we had this issue before, and I was a little bit livid about it.
Mhm. Yeah, Leonard went in last time. But Leonard, I was like, Lord, look at this dude.
That's why folks is losing right now, because the stuff in front they face, they just looking straight class, and this is why Christians, people look at you with the side eye.
Mm-hmm. But if I knew for 100 without a shadow of a doubt that I was gonna have God's, I had to make a choice, and I was gonna either have that money or have God's favor. Leonard, there's nothing.
You can't have God's favor with that money.
What can I not obtain with His favor that money would buy me?
See, and this is like sound almost like the preacher hustle game.
Mm-hmm. But my thing is this right here, and yeah, it can sound that way. But my thing is this right here. I feel, and that's just me talking. Everybody got their own idea. I want to go to Badger as well, put him into this conversation. But I feel as though if I had God's favor, or the way the Badger was said, the Creator's favor, there's nothing in this world that I cannot have. There's no door that can be closed before me.
Like I
But
said,
if I just had that money, LeBron James got a lot of money, but there are some places LeBron James can't go,
where?
even with his money.
Where?
Clan meeting.
Why would he want to go there?
They
But
kill
he
him.
can.
They kill him.
I mean, I don't think he's gonna stand there and let him kill him.
Well, but see, again, he can't go there because he gonna find himself in a situation that's not conducive to what he want to be a part of. So he wouldn't go there. He can't. I mean, like you say, he can, but why?
Like exactly. We can make up stuff all day.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes down to it, you need to have what you know.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know, people say things. Do you know if that's true what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, when you ask people, you would be surprised. People be just talking. They be so passionate.
Mm-hmm. And don't know what they're talking about.
Is it true?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why we don't get along. That's why you think I'm an a-hole.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just gave all this speech. You were so passionate. I asked you one question.
Mm-hmm.
And now you ready to snap.
Crackle and pop.
But that's the world we live in, where people love to they love to talk about this, that, and the other. But is what you're talking about worth anything?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is it true? We live in a world where it's a second thought whether it's true or not. It ain't the first thought.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say it and see what happens.
Throw it on the wall.
Let's just see what happens. Let's see who believe it. And if we could get at least half of them fools, we can elect us a president.
Mm-hmm. Let me go to Badger. Badger, what's on your heart, Badger? Living on the road.
Man.
Come on, Badger.
To me, Leonard's hitting on something though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've actually thought about it. If Creator actually allowed me to have that much money, I wouldn't be able to have it for long.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd end up giving it away to a whole bunch of people. Just trying to help folks out, because I'm not a big fan of. I'm perfectly happy with what I have. Don't
Mm-hmm.
need anything more than that. As long as I have enough to take care of my family, that's it. Um, I guess I'm just weird like that.
No, that's a good place to be. That means you're not.
So I guess in some ways, especially like in this day and age, you know, some of God's favor would end up being, having money given to you. Right now, money's what runs the world right now. And I know there are some people out there that probably, I've heard a lot of stories about people that have money and things like that did a lot of good for people, but their stories never got shared because they didn't want fame or favor or anything. They did it just to be good human beings. And we need more like that. I don't think there's definitely not that I'm aware of very many of those kinds of people sitting in our government positions. It's like one of the biggest issues I have is how these sports stars make so much money, but our military don't hardly make anything. Just all kinds of things like that, or things that sometimes can even get me heated because I have a big issue with that. And it's messed up to look at things that way in a lot of ways. One of the other things that I've also noticed is how many people have gotten what they have by screwing people over and stuff like that literally tell other people that it's the favor of God. That twist those words to make people think that they got where they got by, harming other people, be it spiritually, mentally, physically, whatever the case may be, and God's let them do it, or that's what God told them to do. And then other people continue that same pattern thinking that that's what they need to be doing. So there's a lot of corruption even in the topic that we're talking about today.
Exactly. Now, Donald Toussaint, which one, and that's true, Donald Toussaint, which one of these two, fortune and fame, because we're not gonna put God's favor in that category with that, but fortune and fame could be more corrupt to an individual?
My dad used to say, greed will turn a man to rags. Because you can find the true character of a person if you give him what he really wants, and money answers anything, all of it. It'll give you, it'll put you. You can buy anything in just about anybody if you got the right enough money. You think these politicians that you vote for run the office that they're in? No, I don't believe that. It's somebody that got some power and some money that's telling them, okay, I understand what you want to do, Mr. President, but this is how things go, Mr. Mayor. And then you wonder why people that we really count on to get some things done, you find out they're tied in hands. Because they have a relationship because of their money. They have a relationship with certain people in certain other positions of power with money that run in that area, and they'll blackball you.
Wow.
They'll go to the loan. They'll go to the bank you bank at, and they go to the church with the banker. And that loan that you really counting on, they tell you deny him.
Yeah.
That's where the corruption is. Yeah.
Mm.
You think you got it, and then they'll go to the mortgage company, and your interest rate or whatever the case may be, your house ain't valuable like your neighbor's value, and you wonder why.
Mm-hmm. They done
You
shifted you.
know, yeah, your house look better than your neighbor's. You keep your yard up a lot better than they do.
Mm-hmm.
But your house, you go look and see, get it appraised, and you find out, well, wait a minute, hold on, why is their house $50,000 more valuable than mine?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a corruption level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. I
Hey.
want to say something. I'll come back later on if I can.
Okay. What's on your
I
heart?
want to talk about favor, man. I'm telling you favor. And
We
I
got.
want to tell a little story about favor
Let me hear you.
because they had this guy.
Mm-hmm.
His father really loved him. Y'all gonna get it in a minute. And because his father loved him, his brothers hated him. I'm talking about favor. And because they hated him so much that I'm rushing through the story, they put him in the pit. I'm talking about
Joseph.
favor.
Yeah.
Then they sold him to the Ishmaelites,
Mm.
which he wound up in Egypt. The king or whoever, Potiphar's wife, lied on talking about he tried to rape me. But I'm talking about favor. They put him in the prison. It's telling you
Mm-hmm.
about the favor of God.
Come on.
I'm telling you about it.
Mm-hmm.
Caused him to be, they used to tell him, here come the dreamer. But the dreamer had favor. Now and I'm going to close this out, a quick version, started at the pit. But when his brothers found out who he really was, they thought his life was in danger. But he let them know, look, all of that stuff you did to me, you meant it for evil. But because of the favor of God, he worked it out for good.
For the good. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, run and tell that.
Mm-hmm. Minister Neil, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning?
Hey, doing good, doing good. We're asking a question. What do you think most people would gravitate to if given a choice? Fortune, fame, or God's favor?
I believe it'd be the fortune. I think everybody will want the money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that just the reason why I'm saying that because I think that the money is what you're going to think that you have happiness with, more so than
Mm-hmm.
favor. I mean, I'm not going to say that. I'm just going off of what you're asking me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I say that to you because it's a loaded question because I can't really speak for everyone, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going off of what I've seen and some of the compromising situations I've seen people in, and you wonder sometimes like, was it really worth it? Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
case in point, did you see that video I sent you about Church River, or did you
Yeah.
actually look at it? Did you actually look at it?
I looked at a little
Did you
bit of
actually no? Did you actually look at? You need to look at it, bro. Not a little bit of it, and
it.
listen to what he was saying about the gospel industry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Go
And
ahead.
that's the same thing that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He spoke about because he was saying that they wanted him to compromise.
I know he said something. At one point, he was saying how they came to him and he said, "No, I'm not going to do that because
Right. It's demonic.
what you think is demonic." And then
Right.
they talked and then they came back and they say, "Well, didn't I just tell you it was demonic? How you gonna come right back to me after I told you it was demonic?" So yeah,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So again, what did he say? He said, "I don't need the money that bad."
Mm-hmm.
That was his
Mm-hmm.
statement. So that
Mm-hmm.
tells you something that that and you got to think that. Well, first thing I thought about was the scripture. What profits a man to gain the whole world but lose your soul?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's what basically what he was saying. And again, this topic is profound. It goes hand, it's parallel in what he was saying. So he was saying some of us out here are for real, is what he said.
Mm-hmm.
He said a lot of people would have took that deal, but he said a lot of us out here. He said, he said, I don't want it like that. He said,
One thing,
Nasar is just what.
one thing that
But
stuck on me to cut you off, but one thing that stuck to me, he said, you'll be amazed at the ones that took that deal.
yeah,
In,
yes,
in the gospel,
yes,
he said you'll be
yes. He
amazed.
said,
Yeah.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, and he broke it down to the point. He said, what really blew my mind, bro, when I listened, we was talking about, I was talking to somebody about it yesterday. I said to somebody else yesterday, and he said, and if somebody else brought this to my attention, I missed it.
Mm-hmm.
The girl said, she said, yeah, Ricky, what made it so bad? He even said that if I got to use my own money,
Yeah.
he says, because this song is here to glorify God and reach God's people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Hold on one second. We got a call. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Caller 678 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Tanisha Day calling in from Riverdale, Georgia.
Hey, Tanisha, how you doing?
Doing wonderful. I was just listening in.
Okay, good deal. Well, I want to hear your heart. What do you think most people would pitch their tent? Fortune, fame, or God's favor? What would they pitch their tent? Most people.
You said what would most people pinch their tent?
Yeah.
What
would most people select? Would they select fortune, fame, or God's favor? What do you think most people would select of these three?
I think it all depends on where their heart and mindset, based off their values of what they learned on their decision of what they choose. Most majority of people by my Facebook and the friends that I deal with on my Facebook, because I do go through everyone's page, I find a lot of people who would side with going with God instead of just the fortune and fame. Because by the end of the day, all it can really disappear. You can have as much money as all you want, but if God is not within you, if you don't even breathe or speak of Him, that won't make a difference. And it seems like it's good at first when you getting all that fame. It feels so glorified. Oh, I did it. But is that really coming from God? Is that really true enough? It's not. It's not. However you got it, that's blessings, but it's not from God blessings. So it won't last.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's good. Linda, talk to me, brother.
I'm just listening. A lot of people are on that right path, man, when it comes to that question. Because, like I remember I told you, I'm not into defining God or His favor. I recognize it as a blessing. Just that. It's nothing I control. If God chooses to bless me, I'm so thankful for those blessings. But the moment I hear somebody using that as a ploy or a tactic or anything to take advantage of someone, I'm usually against that 100%. I'm not sure if you can even still hear me or not, because it seems like it froze. Right.
No.
Okay. The picture has frozen, I guess, on my computer. But that's just how I am about that thing. And sometimes Christians get so carried away. And then you'll sit there and you'll say that somebody else is demonic and this thing, that, and the other. I really wonder what it was, because I don't know about the trip, that deal or whatever. I didn't see that. But, they do it. That seems to be common in that industry. I don't know what it is that he was asked to do, but it questions the fact, well, how did other people get their deals?
Yeah. And
I'm not trying to be negative or anything, but I'm just not assuming that Ty Tribbett is telling the story for everybody. That may be what they came to him with.
Well, see, he said at one point, he said, you'll be amazed. He said, I'm not going to call the name. And this, I'm going to tell you how he said it. I'm not going to call the names, but you know who you are.
But what was demonic about it? I don't understand that part.
Well, he didn't divulge. He didn't divulge that part. He would say they came to him with a deal, and the deal that they try to come to him with. See, if you do this, you're going to be here. You'll do this, and
But well, I mean, I'm just figuring out what it is that you could have written down that would have been so demonic.
There's a lot of things that they could have wrote on that paper, man, that could have been real demonic. But like I said, I don't know. I can't speak on that
because it's about the contract. It's about the contract, right?
It's about the contract, but at the same time, yes, it's about the contract, but at the same time, what is in that contract? Because to me, and this is totally different. And we got another call. We're gonna go to that call as well. This is totally different. But if in that contract, if we're making a movie. And me being who I am, y'all know how I feel about this, man. And they say, well, Raheem, there's a scene in this movie that we just implemented in this movie where you have to put on a dress, and that's how we're gonna let you escape out the building. Nah, man.
Right.
I didn't sign up for that.
I understand that. But on the same hand, a lot of these artists talk about these things. But what are those things? But especially in the gospel industry. I mean, in the gospel music industry.
Yeah. Again, he didn't divulge what that was, but at the same time, he did. Only thing he said is it's very demonic, and he said I told them that it was demonic, and then they came back to me and they tried to convince me again to do this and to do that and to do this, and he said, didn't I just tell you it was demonic? And how you gonna come back to me and tell me you want me to do this? I just told you it was demonic.
Well, it must have been something very specific.
Yeah, but he didn't.
And if it was that specific and demonic, I doubt if it was in the contract.
From what he said was, Ricky, am I off base, man? Am I where I'm supposed to be with that? Oh, like I said,
I mean, the thing about it was that whatever this, he was in negotiation about the record, and I don't know who or what he was talking to, but he declined. He declined. He declined whatever proposition they had for him, and he said, I think by them calling back, I think that's the reason why he did that YouTube. Yeah, because he was like, I couldn't believe they called me back after I declined it. So they knew my stance. They already know that he was like, I'm not here to make a whole bunch of money. I'm here to present God to these people. And he kept saying that. That's what he kept saying. And he was like, I'm not going to do that. So he was like, and then he said, you'll be surprised how many people have taken or would take this opportunity. He said, but I decline it. And my thing is that I get what he's saying, because sometimes I mean, I've been around some preachers that have told me things, well, I can do this for you if you do that. I can't do that because that's not what I read.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. And sometimes when if you didn't read it, for me, I understand where you're coming from. If I didn't read it, I'm not going to do it. Like I said, I don't care if you're the preacher or bishop or elder to the ninth power. It don't matter to me. If I didn't read it, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Period. I mean, I've seen people talk about touch the garment of a man. I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing it. You telling me you Jesus, and I know better.
Exactly.
Now you trumping God. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not going to do that. So again, I get what he's saying. It could have been anything. Like we had the discussion about man wear the dress. Like I'm always going to say that if it's that important for that role, for that person who has that role to wear a dress, put a woman in it. She looks better than anyway. So my whole thing is that I'm not going to do it. I get what Raheem's saying. I understand what my brother was saying. I'm not going to do it. Sorry.
Exactly. Let me go to the phone. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Rico, calling from Anniston, Alabama.
Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Everybody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Everybody. Doing all right. How's everybody doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. We're asking a question, Rico, and I want to hear your heart on this, brother. What will most people select? What will most people select in this situation? Fortune, fame, or God's favor? Fortune, fame, or God's favor? What will most people select?
So it ain't just favor; it's God's favor.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Some people gonna say they want God's favor, but they gonna have expectations or desires for the fame and fortune via God's favor. And so I believe that's the way most people would go. You know, it's like common now for people to be politically correct or just say the right things. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but I need to say the right thing because I need to make sure I put out the right image or whatever. I want people to think my character is of this way. But most people you see after they get to a certain place, when they get that favor, what happens? They still they're living in double standards. They contradict themselves and they lie about it. They don't accept. Like to me, I believe a person that has a pedestal that is more willing to admit his wrongs instead of getting caught in them is somebody that you should listen to, because at least you know they walking around flawed. They talking and living flawed, but they understand they're human. Not saying that they deserve an excuse. You're not excusing it, but at least admitting and owning up to the fact that you still are walking flawed. But some people don't do that. They hide. They rather keep on filling that closet up with skeletons. Me myself, I would prefer the universe's favor. You know, I think I heard y'all talking a little bit earlier, and it sounded like it sort of kept going back around to material things. But you know, to me, I look at God's favor, or just favor period, as if I could have been the person that was there when George Floyd had that knee on his neck, I would have been in God's favor to be there. Because I know I would have been the one that would have did something differently than everybody else. My heart wouldn't have let me sit still. My feet wouldn't have been able to sit still. So, you know, I consider being able to be the person that could benefit or contribute to mankind, to benefit people. Then I believe you have God's favor, because everybody isn't capable or able or in position to benefit or save or help people, to help others, or even contribute just to, like I said, the betterment of mankind.
Exactly. Let me go to Leonard, because Leonard has to take off. He has an appointment today. Leonard, anything on your heart before you get out of here, brother? Leonard, you there? Leonard, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep. Try to catch him before he got. He might have. Sometimes there's a delay on the sale. He may be gone already. Miss Day, what's on your heart, sister? Talk to me. Tanika? Yes, there you go.
Well, what was on my heart, I was just thinking when the gentleman just said that about the part about George Floyd, the knee. Sometimes I do wish I could have been there, you know, to stop that officer from doing that. I can't even imagine that 8 minutes of that pain, knowing what he was going through. You could feel it. You could feel it, because I'm a human being. And then I'm black on top of it. So I felt every bit of it, but actually feeling it, somebody's knee on the back of your neck, there's nothing you could possibly do. Now all this other crap, not even trying to take your whole show there, but all this other crap that they coming up with, oh, he had this issue before, whatever. But I totally agree with the other gentleman, you know, even on the fact of when he said, people will put up that perpetrating wall. Oh, I'm God and I'm this and I'm all that. I mean, we got a lot of Derricks out here. We do. And not trying to bring his name up, but there's a lot of Derricks. They preach it and they be doing wrong. Me, on the other hand, no, I don't preach it. If you go to my page, I do motivation. I'm not going to preach it, because the simple fact, I know that I don't always do right. So I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, girl, you need to be holy, sanctified. Yeah. And I'm over in the back doing X, Y, Z. So, yeah, I totally agree with the young man who spoke after me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Badger, what's on your heart?
Listening, trying to understand some of the stuff that's being said. It's, you know, kind of like what I've been touching on. You know, there's too many people have gotten way too sensitive nowadays. You know, corruption is at an all-time high. And I'm just wondering what the people that know about it and what they're going to do. with knowing it. Are they just gonna just keep talking about it, or are they actually gonna follow up with actions? Which people are going to be called to actually do things with action.
That's good. That's good. Mr. Dale, what's on your heart? Ricky?
Yeah, I'm here. I had to hit the mute button. I'm sorry about that.
No, you good. You good. What's on your heart? Talk to me.
It's interesting that how some of the comments is coming out, because I mean I get it, and we have to be very selective about who you're under when it comes to the gospel. But the issue that I have is that some almost seem like we're putting everybody in one barrel. And I say that because something Leonard said again that kind of made me think about, everybody, God's favor is the favor for the individual. So it's kind of hard to say who's faking and who's not faking. You know what I'm saying? Because I always say, for me, I give you a chance, and I always give people a chance to find out who they are, and I listen a lot, and I listen for key words that you say. So when I hear certain things, and I'm like, well, okay, maybe I heard it wrong. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, because even as a preacher, you have to be careful. For me, I'm very careful about what I say, how I say it, and who I say it to, because the responsibility of what you say out your mouth is so heavy that sometimes it can be misinterpreted, is what I'm saying. So when you hear people say some people might be faking, I can't say that, because that's kind of broad to me. That's very broad. I get that people. The reason why I say that, because the Bible also tells. Remember when we were talking about yesterday, the Bible says you have to pray for people's infirmities.
Yes.
So when people are having issues personally, it's not that God that they're faking. It's that they're struggling with something that they need some help with. You understand what I'm saying? So, and I say that to you because I talk to a lot of people sometimes. I talk to a lot of young brothers, and one thing I noticed about them, and I love that they're so raw, is that they're at points that even when I walk in the barbershop, they be like, "Yeah, real, what's going on? What's going on?" They be happy to see me. It's because it's love been shown to them. A lot of them don't have that outside of whatever they claim that they're doing. I don't ask no questions. I don't get through all that. But my point I'm making is that they not bad people. They not faking. They just haven't been shown, or nobody has never really nurtured or helped them to guide them in a different direction. So sometimes I don't want to say that people are faking. I think sometimes people just have infirmities. And that's what the Bible talks about. And if you think about it with the woman at well. God went to her and was like, that was defined. That's the ultimate infirmity. She was sleeping with a whole bunch of men. But he was like, he didn't condemn her. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I think we got to come. Sometimes, I mean, I get it that sometimes we put these people up. But sometimes we got to look back and stop and think about who we are putting up there. And you know exactly what I mean. We all been in the church together when things have really people have been exposed about from the power that they say they have and all that. Case in point, that morning you was in there and they said that girl was possessed. What did I tell you? You mean tell me the devil bad enough to come in this church when you tell him you got all this anointing in here? And when you and I talked about that, am I lying?
Yeah, sure did.
And I told her, I said, bro, you like, bro, why you didn't go down? I said, because I'm not getting involved in none of that. I said, because they all I'm playing. But that has nothing to do with, that's an infirmity they had. That's not saying that I didn't pray for them. I just ain't fool with you no more. It's like food. Sometimes some food ain't good. Like that seafood spot up there that seafood spot you about talking about, you like.
Man, go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. See, you done took the left turn over, man. You're doing good a minute ago. Wichita, you took that left turn. Hey, Donna Tucson, talk to me, man.
Over there.
Man, look at here, man. He talking about the fish place, man. Wait, look here. Hallelujah. Donna Tucson, what's on your heart? Come on, man. Come on.
This is just me. You have, and I hear too, but you got to understand how favor works.
Mm-hmm.
Favor works in a way that you don't have to worry about money and fame.
Mm-hmm.
You come along with it. It comes along with it.
Come on.
I'm just saying. David, Solomon had an opportunity to have anything he wanted from God. Basically, the conversation went something like, "What do you want?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, he asked for wisdom.
Yes.
To lead people. The mindset was right. His motives and his methods was righteous. He might have been jacked up. What kind of man needs 300 wives and 700 concubines? But his motives was right now because of the fact that that's what he asked for. The money and the fame came along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody knew about Solomon. Candace, I think her name was, the Ethiopian queen, come up there and says, everything they say about you, what I see, it didn't even scratch the surface. So when you see how favor works,
mm-hmm.
then sure enough, I got my eye on the money and the fame in a certain sense, because let me tell you something. Let me just say this. I don't know most of y'all, but as much as I know Adam Cat.
Mm-hmm.
But here I am.
Yeah.
But here I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't fool with people. Really.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like Neil, we're not all in the same box. We see people, especially if they say they're Christian, the first thing we do is frown on them. And then because we wanna put Christians or people in a manipulated mindset. I'm not manipulated by nobody.
Mm-hmm.
I do what I want, when I want, how I want, the way I want. I talk to who I want to, and if I don't want to talk to you, I don't talk to you. I'm not trying to be nobody in front of nobody. I am who I am. You don't like it? Get somewhere and sit down.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about it.
Okay.
It don't make me no difference, but at the same time, there's a favor that is going on, whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's real.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't have $1 million. I don't have $100,000. Like that. Anyway, I'm just saying.
So you might got $100 million out there.
Oh yeah, $100 million. I hang this phone up right now. You never hear from me again.
Good Lord, whatever happened to sharing, man? Whatever happened to sharing, bro? You ain't gonna get nobody nothing. You hang up the phone.
I'm gonna make sure. No, Raheem. I'm gonna make sure that DKM Radio does very well.
Okay, there you go. I appreciate that. I definitely.
I'm just saying.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rico, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find my way in this conversation right now, man. I'm just gonna go back to that favor again, man. I mean, it can be complicated, and I believe it's complicated because of man. You know, I look past that fame and fortune thing because most of the time, to me, those are desires that they have to be recognized by man, fame and fortune. So I really don't desire those. But the favor thing to me, favor is just being able to wake up in the morning. You know, I mean, we could take that just for granted. I don't even know if anybody said that. I didn't get on when you first got on the line this morning. But that's not what I'm hearing the most. But to me, that's the most appreciative. That's the thing I appreciate the most. It's just being able to wake up this morning. I know a few people that died down here in these tornadoes a few days ago. When they woke up that morning before that tornado, that same day that it hit, that wasn't the thought that was on their mind or a clue. That I ain't gonna make it throughout the day. I'm gonna be gone forever. They ain't care nothing about no fame or no fortune. It ain't a dollar that could have saved them, and it couldn't have a clap or a million views that could have stopped what happened.
Come on.
Maybe the way they moved could have been a little different. But I think about those type of things, you know what I'm saying? Because that woman got children. One of the women got children that's got to deal with that and cope with that now. So I consider myself in so much favor because it's been plenty of times that, I mean, not just 10 years ago or 20 years ago, but plenty of times that things could have happened that I wouldn't be right here talking to y'all right now. Y'all wouldn't know I existed. So I look at that type of favor. I look at the favor of the time that I have gone through bad situations, and I thought, why me? But I found something deeper within that made me put my foot down and say, you know what? I ain't got nothing but my balls and my word. I got to fight for me. And so I filed a public defender and right in the middle of court and represented myself and got out the same day. That's favor. When you got courage and bravery, that's favor because everybody ain't got courage.
Come on.
Everybody ain't brave enough to hold themselves accountable, much less try to save another person's life or to stand up in the court of authority in other places. So, I look at that type of thing as favor.
Okay.
I don't really have to, it's hard for me to even get into the other little details about the other things that come with fame and fortune and this and that. But I do know that in this day and time, fame and fortune does help you have favor, but only amongst man.
And see, the thing about it, and I want to get into this part of it is what. Before I do that, Badger, what's on your heart? Anything on your heart right now?
Yeah. I want to clarify what I mean by some of the things I say. All right. There's a term that is used that's been, one of the terms that I was given to use to sometimes describe things, gurus. Like in a lot of the native stuff, the amount of people that used sweat lodges or other tools of medicine that are passed down, through that culture, and how people used it to get money. And they've killed people in sweat lodges. People have died in them because they're not properly trained, they're not using them right, they're in it for the wrong purpose, so on and so on. So it's and that's what I'm talking about, because there are people of every religion out there.
Now hold on, man. Before you go on, you said sweat lodges. Now what exactly is that?
A sweat lodge is is usually a hut. I guess you could use the word hut. I mean, they come in different shapes and sizes and types. Where they pretty much, they heat up lava rocks, and they put the lava rocks in, and it's pretty much a sauna.
Yeah, okay, so like a sauna. Okay,
yeah.
I get it. Okay.
But you need to be trained in being able to do that. You have to be able to pay attention. You get trained medically. You have to watch people's skin color. You have to watch how they're breathing. You have to see if they're you have to learn so much of body language. Because people can get sick in there and not even know it until it's too late.
Wow.
I went through a lot of teachings to even have any idea of how to, you know, do a sweat lodge. Even for myself, just for myself, the amount of stuff I was taught to pay attention to, just to do it for me. And the responsibility to do it for someone else, oh boy. You know, so and to me, taking that concept and applying it to people that use the Bible to teach, people that are in different religions and things like that, you know, I agree with, you know, what Mr. Neil was saying. To some degree, there are people that, you know, just need some help, but I also feel that there are people that are very greedy and corrupt, and they choose to be that way because they enjoy it. I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying some of them, and those are the ones I'm talking about. You know, the ones that end up showing up on TV, you know, who are taking people's money left and right, and they got all these planes and helicopters and Lamborghinis and all that other stuff, you know. I'm not talking about, you know, the backwoods preachers and healers and all that kind of stuff that, you know, are constantly doing good for people. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people that use the different tools out there that can help a person grow, depending on the path they choose to reach Creator or God or whatever they want to call it, for their own personal gain. Those are the ones I'm talking about.
Okay. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Are you talking to me? 816?
That's who it is. That's who it is. Got a question for you. Then tell everybody who you are, where you calling from.
This is KC Linus from Kansas City.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay, I'm gonna ask you this question. What will most people gravitate to of these three? Fortune, fame, or God's favor? Which one would most people gravitate to?
You said fortune,
fame, or God's favor?
Fortune.
Why you say?
Because people seem to want all this gold, and they want to go party, they want to go turn up, and it take money to do that. So the fortune, so that they can just go live this lifestyle that don't mean nothing.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Let me Rico said something earlier, and I want to go back and touch on that for a second, because he was saying how people get. I think it was Rico that said people get a lot of things and the material thing. They get caught up in that material things. So, Minister, let me ask you this question: material things, fortune and fame, is not always from God. What do you say to that?
I mean, it might not be from the God we serve, but it might be from that God. Simple as that. There's nowhere where, I mean, I'm not putting that out there that they're serving a different God. What I'm saying is that we sometimes, and it's funny that I hear people talk sometimes, and they equate fame and fortune with God. When sometimes you just in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, I'm not saying that God don't put you in those places, but if you already know you're not serving God, and what I mean by that is it's kind of hard for me sometimes. I give you a prime example. When you listen to rappers, a lot of the acceptance speeches, a lot of them got Jesus pieces on and go this, and not saying they don't believe in God. Not saying it at all.
Yeah.
But it's difficult for me to say, well, it's kind of condescending that we'll talk about preachers, but then you want to sit in there and say, I want to thank God first. You know, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a little confused. I'm totally confused here. I heard you don't went through a whole lyric where you bop and call her everything but everything and what you do and how much dope you don't sold and how much you don't cock back and all that. You're like, wait a minute, I'm totally confused. Where's the God in this music? So it's kind of hard for me to understand. So that's why a lot of times, you know, again, the Bible says we have to pray for our brothers' infirmities. So we have to pray for these people.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds cliches and people are, oh, well, you know, that's what Christians usually say. No, it's not what we say, it's what we're supposed to do. That's part of the guidelines of following Christ. It's praying for these people. So you can't say, well, I don't know. I mean, case in point, I had an argument, but I had someone tell me one day that they felt like Casey Hampton, the girl who found the one who got off for killing her daughter up in Orlando. They just did a 2-part series on her on ID, and they were saying that it was some new evidence that had come out that they did some kind of way they missed it or something like that. But make a long story short, the young lady was like, "That's messed up. She going to hell." I say, well, you can't say she going to hell because God didn't design for no one to go to hell. He designed for you to go to heaven. So who's to say she doesn't repent and turn her life over to Christ? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So again, I'm not telling them, I'm not saying that they going to hell, and I'm not, I can't, I don't have that, I can't do that. But I can also, what I can do is just follow in his word. And what his word says, pray for him. If you see something's wrong, sometimes it's not always good to point out, just pray for him. Say, hey man, you know, I'm praying for you, doc. And really do it. Don't just say it, just really do it.
Okay, exactly.
That's what we have to do.
Absolutely. Now, we got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning, Mr. Bishop.
Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm blessed, sir. Good about yourself.
Hey, doing well. We're asking a question this morning, Bishop, but I want to hear your heart on this. Where do you think most people would fall? What do you think most people will fall? Do they want the fortune, fame, or God's favor? What do you think most people will reside?
I believe most will reside for the fortune. Yeah, there's an old saying, you know, give me a dollar, make me want to holler. Folks want that money. Those dollars take care of financial needs. They get that, you know, opportunity to have a nice, fancy house or a car or money in the bank. So this is what the carnal mind does. It looks at the finances that makes them something. But the favor of God is much, much greater, because when you have God, God not only gives you his spirit, but he gives you the money. And then the fame that a lot of people see, that is so minute, because to whom much is given, much is required.
Yes.
So while you want to be famous, you put yourself more into a spotlight, and there's no margin for error if you're there. So when you act up and mess up, then you lose confidence in people, because your level of popularity and fame has diminished because of your ignorant act. So the reality is, everybody wants money, everybody needs money, and the favor of God, they can care less until they get into a situation. Pray for me. Ask God, really go to God and pray for me. So, did I answer your question?
You did. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Toussaint, talk to me. What's on your heart, brother?
I listen, and what I thought about is, you know, and I'm going to agree. If I can just get up in the morning, I'm like Rico, oh Lord, thank you, because that is not deserving. If I could just have one more chance, that's what I say every morning. God, thank you for another chance. The rest of it is up to you. Because if I get into it, I'll get in my own way. I don't have time to worry about what another person's doing, what their agenda is, their thoughts, whether they're going to try to make it to heaven or hell. I don't have time for that. I do my best. to try to lift him up and direct him in the place that they can point at him. Don't look at me, because you're gonna see. You keep following me, you're gonna see a mess. So how can I, in a ditch, not just saying that I'm in a ditch, but in this flesh, we all got stuff going on. So I can't boast about me. Oh, really? And then look down on another person? You mean really? When we made of the same dirt?
Come on.
If I have another chance, that's all we got. So now, if he chooses to take me out, I still win. Because I got a tabernacle that's not made by hands. Another one. That's favor. Some more favor. See, Pete, everybody's talking about what's going to happen here, and they think if people lose that's good if they are living a type of life that sooner or later, I don't care if a train runs me over. It doesn't make a difference if I can just go home. This ain't my home. That's my understanding. That's how I think. And when we talk about the favor, it completes every act possibly known to man, even if I lose my life.
Come on.
Because Paul is at a point where he has such a favor, or he feels like he has so much favor on his life. He says, and be absent from the body, I'm present with the Lord. He says, I would like to stay here. But look, let me tell you something. I fought a good fight. I finished my full course. I kept the faith. There's a crown laid up, not only for me. So when we talk about favor, it's good. I'd love to be able to handle or deal with my family's problems and stuff like that. But if I'm not, good to go. I'm still good to go.
There you
but
go.
That's just my mindset.
There you go. Good deal. Good deal. Let's keep this thing going. Let me go to Badger. Then we got another caller. We're gonna go to the caller. Badger, what's on your heart?
Did the topic switch?
No, we're still the same place. Fortune, fame, or favor, or God's favor.
I think God's favor is the most important one. I just don't feel that a lot of people view it that way.
And Badger, it's powerful what you just said, brother, because I don't think a lot of people understand the value of God's favor. I don't think they understand the value that's tied up in there, and what it can do. But go ahead, brother.
Wow, I just read what was put on Twitch.
Public citizen.
Yeah. Talking about false prophets. Oh man. It's and we kind of touched on it last week, too. I'm trying to remember what day. I think it was like 2 days and we ended up touching on it. God's favor, when you're doing your best to walk in light, creation's going to provide. The creator's going to take care of you. You can be in the middle of, one of the worst spots in your life, and then out of nowhere, someone either comes up and goes here, or you receive a random check in the mail and you don't even know what it's from or why you got it. It just shows up. I've had that happen to me a few times. I was in a really bad situation, and I'm like, all right, it's like the house is taken care of and the bills, but we need to get these certain things done, like testing for my wife. And out of nowhere, voila, we're able to afford my wife's testing, and she's been tested. We'll find out more Thursday, but it's looking like she might have Graves' disease. So it's been interesting at my house. It's been a struggle because, it's hard. We can't really pay out of pocket for my wife's insurance, but my disability check is too much money for her to get insurance through the state. So it's been a constant fight as far as the money goes. And I've had to stay really positive about it and not let anger overwhelm me and stuff. And I do have bouts where I get angry and stuff like that, but I have to correct myself and trust in Creator to provide. You know, and there's a couple times where I beat myself up, you know, if I would have took care of my back, you know, I wouldn't be disabled, you know, I'd be able to go out and work and all this stuff, you know. And then I'd get that reminder either in my sleep or my wife would make something. She said, and she'd tell me I have a beautiful mind. I have a lot of knowledge. I do a lot of research. That's your gift, you know, and things like that. So,
It's good.
sorry, I
That's
just got a funny text message. You know,
no.
so, no, someone sent me a text message. It was funny.
Okay.
And that's why I talk about a lot of things I talk about, because I've sat back and I observe, you know, in the gaming communities and the Discords I'm a part of, you know, I make a comment because a lot of people say I'm like a shadow because I literally just come and go. They never know when I'll show up, and usually when I show up, they'll just want to listen to what I have to say because it's just, I don't know. And you know, it got me thinking about being an observer. You know, that picture of that shirt I showed you the one time. You know, the more I hear, the more I see.
Exactly. That's good.
And when you sit back and you observe and you really listen, you don't look at it from a judgmental point of view, but you observe. Let Creator show you the illusions and the unseen of what's going on around you. I think people would have a better understanding of the toxic people and the people that are walking a true path of light.
Good
to
deal.
the best of their ability.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me go to actually we got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Toya with the T on the line. Good morning.
Toya with a T. Good morning. How you doing, young lady? I need to ask you a question.
Hello. Yeah.
What do you think most people would select? What do you think most people would select out of these three? Would they select the fortune, fame, or God's favor? What do you think most people would select?
You know what? It's hard to tell because I think most of us, you know, we always want to say the right thing, but I think most of us would probably choose God's favor because we don't acknowledge that we already got it. But I don't know. I would think fortune. You know, I think most people, our drive is money. You know, be billionaires, be able to buy what they want to buy and do what they want to do and go here, there. Fame, not so much, because you know, you get the money, you get the fame. You know what I mean? But definitely, I think that a lot of us don't understand that if we're alive and walking, that we have God's favor. We got everything that God promised us.
Yes.
So I think that we walk around on a daily basis, not really understanding that we are already in God's favor if we have life. You know what I mean? God is the father of life. You know what I'm saying? He's not the father of death. Devil don't create humans. You know what I'm saying? He might possess you, but he don't create you. But if you're walking, talking, breathing, you can have no arms, no legs. You have life in your body that is God's favor, and you still have an opportunity to get everything that the Lord is asking for. You know what I mean? That you ask the Lord for and everything that He promised to you. So I'm rolling with God's favor. I don't know about everybody else, and I already got that.
I'm gonna tell you, and I made that earlier as well. My point, you know, and I said people could come with an 18-wheeler with the back full of money, and they say, Raheem, you can have this money, or you can have God's favor. Which one do you want? I tell them, you know, take that money any way you want to take it. Take it, you know, get that money away from me. Give me God's favor, because I know that God's favor open up doors and give me
unlimited.
Absolutely, and doors are open up that money will never be able to buy for me. That money will never be able to open. If I got God's favor, I can walk to the door, and as I'm walking toward the door, it's gonna swing open, and I just walk inside, and I can have millions of dollars. I can have trailer loads full of money, and won't be able to get in those same doors.
Hey, Raheem, I gotta add something to that.
Go ahead.
That only works if the person is open to receive.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Bishop, let me come to you. Rico, come to you next. I want both of y'all to answer the same question. Bishop, this fortune that we're talking about right now. How often is it that people would use that fortune and buy themselves a reservation to hell?
It happens all, man, please. That happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They take their wealth and they utilize it to their own desires and sometimes their own hurtful lust.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what we find and see happening all the time. I'll say this: when God bless you, get a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Of that paycheck, do you pay your 10th? Do you give your 10th? Not pay. Do you give your 10th back to the Lord?
Mm-hmm.
Or you say, man, I got to pay this bill. Well, I got to do that. It happens right now, even with the little menial amount of money that you get from your job or wherever you get it from.
Mm-hmm.
You don't pay your 10th on that. And that's what God requires of us. So it's a perfect example. But you're asking how many people will take it and use it to their own hurtful lust. Just about everybody that gets it.
Mm-hmm.
Those who are faithful and compliant to God's word, then they're going to do what God requires them to do. Whether it be, you know why I say it's hard for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven? Because they trust in their money and they want to make more money.
Yeah.
They ain't looking at those who are less fortunate, those who are in a situation that they need financial help. And you ain't got to give them the money. Why don't you go buy them some food? You ain't doing none of that. Because it's mine. He got to get healed. Man, I know some rich folks, bro. Trust me, I know some people that are very financially comfortable. And you know what they say? I ain't helping them fools. I ain't helping them fools. What they gonna do? They ain't gonna do right with it. And I'm telling you, you ain't doing right with it either.
Wow, Rico, what do you say to that, Rico? How many people will use that fortune and buy themselves a reservation to hell?
A lot will, a lot have, a lot won't, and a lot haven't. Those are only two options. Either you're gonna build up or you're gonna tear something down when you get that money. It's the only two options that you're gonna have or that's gonna happen when you get that money. I can remember one guy at one point in time winning the largest lottery in history, and he ended up dying not long afterwards. People was kidnapping his grandson. Things just went haywire. He bought a big piece of property, put all his family on it, bought 4-wheelers and all that, and some of them got strung out on drugs, and before you know it, he started being extorted. And this was after he gave his 10%. If I'm mistaken, I think he gave 10% to 3 different churches. Old white guy. You know, so yeah, that's what's gonna happen. And that's what happens when you value man-made things. So you said something earlier that they don't understand the value. Some of these people don't even understand the value of fortune and fame. Some people think that when you're famous, you're gonna automatically be rich just because you're a celebrity. But a lot of people don't understand. You could be a celebrity or infamous for something that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
You could have made a big fool of yourself. Now you're infamous. Everybody know you. So, you know, but some people want fame, though. They want that recognition. They want everybody to see who I am. So that, you know, like you said, that goes back to having an understanding. Now, when it comes to fortune, you bought up that $18 million on the back of the truck. That might have been God's favor, depending on the type of path you walked in. See, if you was already a giver, you know, I'm going to go back to another guy last year in California, billionaire, finally gave away all his money. That was his whole motivation. He didn't want to die with it. He didn't want to spend it on himself. He wanted to share it. And then he had a problem getting rid of it because he actually took the time out to investigate and find out that the people he was giving it to were worthy. Were they going to actually carry out what he would hope they would do with it? He finally gave it away. You know, so you look at that, he might have been in God's favor, and that money may have been God's favor. But see, Toya hit it on the head earlier, like a second ago, like I hit it on the head. Most people are consciously going to say God's favor. But unconsciously, deep down inside, they want God's favor because they want that money and they want that fame. Neil said it a second ago. These people get up there and they win them awards, or they get a house, or they go viral. I know somebody down here went viral for recording a bear running down the side of the road. They gave her a news interview. Man, her page went crazy. People went to sharing the post of the bear running down the road. And you would have thought, man, I mean, they had already gave her an interview on Ellen. Oh, remember me when you go to Ellen? And I'm like, man, y'all act like she just got a golden ticket to heaven, or she just took a picture on a spaceship.
Yeah.
She just happened to go viral. But that goes to show you what people value. See, some people's value and some people's God is famous for it. So that's what they value the most. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why they can confuse it. That's why they can win these awards, or they can take pictures with so much money and say, won't God do it? They can take pictures of their exotic car, or their big 5-bedroom home sitting on 2 or 3 acres like Rick Ross or whatever, 3-story home. Ain't God good? Won't he do it? Man, God ain't studying no house. God ain't studying your award, your Grammy, like Mr. Neal said. You little all this and call it. You rapping about WAP, and you got a award for rapping about WAP, and you think you got to give honor to God for that? You think the universe that's what the universe chose you to do? No, that was your willpower and your value, and you giving God thanks for sustaining what you value. That ain't God. That's what you choosing to make it.
Exactly.
You know, so I mean, it's deep. It gets deep and complicated, but understanding the value and understanding what you value. That's the big thing to me. You can say you doing it out of favor and this and that for God's favor, or you favor of the universe, but really and truly, what are you valuing?
Good deal. And I see it all the time, man. I see it all the time. You can't live with the devil and expect Jesus to pay the rent. Minister Neal, what's on your heart? K with the E, come to you next.
Oh man, I'm just listening to a lot of the comments, and they're not on point, because I think that we all arrive into the one thing that, and you know, one thing I'm loving about what I'm hearing is that at the end of the day, you can call it favor or call it a blessing. Or like the old saints would say, he kept me. He kept me. And sometimes I think you're being kept when you don't know you're being kept. So that's the wonderful thing about God. So I'm just loving to hear the people saying that they know they need him. And they know who he is. They know who Jesus is. They know that Jesus is the one who keeping them, who continues to step in when you're wrong, when you're doing wrong, when you're thinking wrong, when you're acting wrong, when you're talking wrong. He steps in. So that's the wonderful thing about this conversation. So we all on the same point, but you know, we all need him.
Yeah.
But the key of it is, are we gonna recognize who he is? And that's the key to this thing. Recognize who he is. And I'm saying that because a lot of times we have an issue with, we want to make it seem like we made it or I made it. And something that Rico said that was very interesting. He said, how you know that money wasn't God's favor for you to give it out? So sometimes, you know, we got to understand something. And I tell people all the time, you know, sometimes God can come to a blessing with you with a grease stain bag. You get right there and you turn it down because you think that you're so noble. Oh, I ain't going to take that. I'm going to take it because I know what I'm going to do with it.
Yeah.
You know, how I know that God is saying, how I know that God, it's like a job. You know, sometimes we look up and we pray for a job or opportunity. And what we so busy, we too frightened to fill out the application. God said, well, I got you. You see it online, you qualify for it. Why don't you go do it? Trust in me. We stopped trusting in God. I'm not going to run away from a truck full of money. I mean, God bless you, my dear brother, but I ain't going to run away from it. I'm going to put it right here in my pocket, and I'm going to do what thus say the Lord. As simple as that.
K, what he talked to me, this joke to my he'll take the money, Lord Jesus. He said, look here, I'm gonna go do something with that money. K, what's on your heart?
Just, I always have to remember, and we have to remember, that the devil blessed too.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier.
Yes, we got to just know the difference in the blessings and where they come from. Because you could get a blessing. We could think, oh, they doing this, they doing that. And then you want to know, That's just like he was saying about the rappers, and they thank God first because they rapping, and in that rap industry, if you don't got God first, you may not make it because they may think you out rapping him, and so that crew gonna take you out because you out rapping them.
Mm-hmm.
So they losing their life because they battling. So it's a hard life out there. So they gotta have God with them when they're rapping, and that's their life, and that's their music. And that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
But pay attention to these rappers and those that do say that they keep God first, and those that don't even mention God. They have a rough life. They stay in the TV. They into this. They into that. Eventually, you gonna hear them too turn to God, and then they start singing gospel. They come out with gospel raps and all of that because God is in it. God is in them, and they might start out with all the rap and what they're going to do and every name but the right name. But in the end of the day, they all turn back to God. They can say maybe they God gave them that. At the end of the day, it's no such thing as they God because we don't have a one. We only have one God and one devil. That's it, and that's all.
That's good. That's good, man. We got this thing. This thing is getting real heavy. It's getting real heavy this morning. Donald Tucson, talk to me.
I just, and all I know is what I know, and that's limited. But if we want to believe that there is a devil, he offered you some stuff too. He did it to Jesus.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I know. He says, if you just do this, I'll give you this. And it's just your values lie. I ain't gonna say too much because everybody got their right to their opinions, and everybody got to be coming from so many different angles. Too, I mean, you just have to get in where you fit in. But when everything is about what's on this side of life, then you see where a person's values are. And so I would love to be able to financially answer all my issues. But there's still some things that money can't buy. I mean, really. And then I don't care who you know. Sometimes you can get in the wrong group of people. And the wrong people know you, and they'll take you out.
Exactly.
So sometimes fame ain't good.
That's right. That's right.
Sometimes money will cause people to, when they get it, they fine, but when they lose it, they blow their brains out.
Yep. Don't want to go back to where they came from. Toya, with a T, talk to me.
No.
Can fortune and fame corrupt you?
You've been corrupted.
You've
been corrupted. What's wrong with going back to where you came from? It's a trick of the devil. The one that we all like to act like don't exist. You need a God. And he is the father of all things. But if you want to limit him as if he is not, what are you going to be left with all your money and fame and clothes and cars and stuff? You're going to be a little devil with all the money. Same access is for everybody, whether you believe him or not. So if you don't know who's the ultimate, who's the creator, where it came from, if you don't know he's your father, who's going to teach you how to deal with that money, clothes, and fame? Who's going to teach you how to have the heart to be able to deal with the people that's gonna want to crucify you when you serve and say you got it in his name? Ain't nobody else there. We always want to give power to ourselves, and we ain't dooley squat. We in the image of a God and still we so high and mighty and proud and think we run everything. And then because he gave us dominion to take a tree and turn it into a piece of paper and stick some dead folk on it,
Oh, we just gotta be zombies. Oh, I just gotta sell people. I just gotta sell kids. I just gotta sell drugs and just destroy the world or be a billionaire. And all that just makes me feel great.
Mm.
Come on, man. We gotta do better. But no, it ain't got nothing to do with the money. It's a tree that's green and white with dead folks on it, and people die every day.
Exactly.
It's the fact that you don't understand the God who created all of us.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Rico, talk to me, brother.
I have to always try to remember that when I talk about the universe's favor, it doesn't mean that I get a pass to do wrong. It doesn't mean that I'm privileged to do wrong or that I have a pedestal to separate myself from anybody else. I have to remind myself that. And I think a lot of times people don't remind themselves that that's what the universe's favor is. Sometimes the universe does provide you with the financial or material things to provide for your family or for your community, for society. Sometimes it goes back to the individual again.
Mm-hmm.
You can take that universal favor and say you provide for your children, or are you spoiling your children? I mean, it's such a thin line. It's hard to find that middle ground of what favor is and what urges or what cravings are, desires are. You know, so I mean, we have to actually be mindful of when we do give credit to the universe for giving us favor. You know, some of those rappers and entertainers that do give favor or give thanks to God or say that that's their favor, hopefully they're saying that because he woke them up and gave them the ability to be able to mentally achieve what they did, physically achieve what they did. You know, like I said, my favor is being able to know that if I got the opportunity to go out here and achieve whatever it is I can with a good mind frame and a solid body, healthy. So, you know, other people, they consider the universe's favor, God's favor being something totally different. You know, it's all in the eye of the beholder or what the person values. But me, it's real easy to tell or read between the lines. You know, this is my question. I got a question. I know y'all ain't gonna be able to answer that, but what are some of the things you can do to earn the universe's favor?
Ricky? What are some? He wanted to know what are some of the things that you can do to receive. He said universal favor, but God's favor. What are some of the things?
That's between you and God. I can't. It's no. The directions are right there in the Bible, so we have to follow His word. But that's between you and in relationship with God. I can't really answer that because that's not a. I mean, that's a loaded question to me because it's kind of hard to tell you how you need to do and what you need to do. I always tell people, and the only advice I can give you is that we don't have a meter on our heads that say we at 80% of God or we at 50% of God. That's in your heart. And once you give your life to Christ and know that this is what you truly know that this is who you are following, the favor is already there. See, God keeps us for assignments. And now that we're at a point that we can go forward with this, but I can't never tell you how to walk, how your walk should be. And I say that because everybody walks is different. And that's what one thing about the gospel, and I love about it, it gives everybody the free will to serve Him. That's why it tells us clear as day. It says over in Revelation, it tells us, you know, whosoever will, let them come. So we got to understand that that's up to you and how you want to walk with God. I can't never tell no one how to walk with God because just like preaching, my style of preaching might be different from other people's style of preaching because I preach the gospel, but then I also want to make you think. I don't want you to go away dumb because I'm gonna ask questions in the course of it because I like the dialogue. But I'm in the pulpit, I become a preacher, meaning that I can preach the gospel. But when I'm out here, I don't mind if people calling me Ricky because that don't do that doesn't take away from what God has have me to do. So again, that's up to you and your relationship with God. I can't never tell you how to walk with him. I would never tell you that. I know people who will. I know people who will try to tell you how to do it, but those are the people that you have to watch, because again, that's your relationship with him. It's like your relationship with your girlfriend, your mama, your daddy, anybody else. You got to have that relationship with God, not me. I got my own relationship.
That's good. Bishop, what's on your heart?
Well, after that, as he asked, and I know where Minister Neal was taking. I know exactly where he was going. But the way, in order to gain the favor that you seek from God, is to obey God's commandments. Simple as that. One thing he told us to do is love. And when Christ went all the way to the cross, he died because he loved us. John goes on to tell us, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. So he told us to love our enemies. He told us to do good. These are the things that you do find favor in God. Not saying, I'm not going to put a millstone about your neck, something that you cannot bear. But one of the easiest things that you and I can do is love folks. Even love those who do things against us. And yet, and this is what makes it so great, that as begrudgingly as you are, or maybe to want to do something for him or her who have done something wrong with you, you still do it. That begins to demonstrate the love of God. Because even when those folks went against him and did all they could against Christ, he still went all the way to the cross for us, to redeem us, to give us that same benefit of eternal life. So I understand what Minister Neal, we don't have a heaven hell to put you, but you do have to save yourself, but you need to be taught how to get to the kingdom. That's the role that we play as shepherds of the sheep or ministers of the gospel. And this is what I tell people all the time. That's why when folks say, I don't love, I'm not perfect, you just tell me you ain't got love. We know the physical body go back to the dust. We already know our teeth gonna fall out of our head. We're gonna lose our memory. No, but if you got love, love is what encapsulates us to be recognized as the children of God. Nothing else. Money ain't got nothing to do with it. Fame ain't got nothing to do with it. Love is the principal thing. And Paul concluded in Colossians chapter 3, verse 14, love is the bond of perfectness. That's why I say love. But Raheem, let me say this, I'm gonna shut up so you can go on to somebody else. The best part about this show is that you allow us to give our opinion. There is neither right or wrong to his opinion or mine. These are our opinions, our views. And that's what I really love about DKM and the Morning Glow. And we get the opportunity to talk and converse about things that we see and how we feel a certain way about certain things. But Minister Neal's not wrong and mine ain't wrong. These are our opinions, and you take what you get from it and utilize it to your own benefit. So that's what I really like. And what you do each week, every day, that you come on here with the Morning Glow and Real Men Being Men and Donald's show and Minister Neal's show and what Rico does and what everybody else do that come on and have their own segments, is that you give us an opportunity to be us. And to talk about things that we really feel and see that are problems that maybe if we just change our views, we may have a better outcome. So thank you, my brother.
Praise to God be the glory. But I got some bad news though. We actually doing. Me and my wife got to go take our COVID test tomorrow, so we're doing a rebroadcast tomorrow. So we won't be here tomorrow. We'll be doing a rebroadcast. We got to get that COVID test done 72 hours before we get on that island. And so hopefully everything goes well with that COVID test. And next week, Friday, we'll be sitting on the island with some iced tea.
Mr. Neal can host the show. Mr. Minister Neal can host the show.
Minister Neal, he going out of town too. He ready to travel too. As a matter of fact, he leaving before I leave. I know it. Ain't that something? Look, Lord Jesus.
But listen, salute to you, my dear brother, for looking out for me. But I'm definitely got to go home and see my mother. So I appreciate you for that, my dear brother. I really do.
Absolutely. Who you want to see? What's on your heart, sis, before we get out of here?
No, I second that, man. Thank you so much, man, for having this platform, man. Hopefully, the things we talk about, man, that it gives somebody the enlightenment that they need. Thank you so much, man. I love you. I love y'all. I love everybody. Great
love
show.
You too, sister. Love you too. This is what I want to have happen, man. let me go to Bishop. Bishop, I need you to pray us out. But in the course of your prayers, Badger said something earlier about his wife, and I want to make sure that you add her, and that God bless her, because he says that they're thinking that she may have some kind of illness, and we want to pray that away right now. So Bishop, if you don't mind, incorporate Badger. If you don't mind, what's your wife's first name?
Hold on.
He got to get permission first. Hey, that brother, he know how to do it. He got to hold on. Before you do that, hold on. Let me get my permission.
Hey, let me say, Bishop, man, that was big. That last answer.
Her first name's Sarah.
I threw that question out there just for that response.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, because y'all know I ain't too articulate or smart when it comes to the Bible. I'm not, that aware of all the ins and outs when it comes to the Bible. But at the same time, the way I walk, the way I feel and live and travel every day, I still travel through my own connection. But sometimes it's hard to explain it, even through a religious way. So that's why I threw that question out there, man. The Bishop, he knocked it out the park, because I knew it was going to be some type of way that people could understand that the pastor is supposed to guide the lost flock, the lost sheep into that direction of favor and salvation. You know what I'm saying? So I think he said that.
Okay, and the thing I have to say to that is, and I definitely appreciate both Minister Neil and Bishop for giving those answers. But my thing is right here, and what I stand on is, and somewhere I read it where it says, "Follow me as I follow Christ." So if whoever that spiritual leader is, if he or she is not following Christ, then they're leading you in the wrong direction. So make sure that they're following Christ and they're leading you. Bishop, he said his wife's first name is Sarah. So if you add her name into the prayer, anything in particular, Badger?
I don't have the right to tell someone how to pray.
No. You missed what I asked you, brother. What exactly?
I didn't. Bishop knows exactly what I mean.
Okay, well, I don't know what you mean. So I'm the one that's talking to you right now. And what I'm asking you is this: is there any what is the illness that that she's suffering, or that they say that she may be suffering?
I can't answer that question.
So you don't know what's wrong with her?
Yeah, right. I don't think he wants to express what the particular illness is. So the prayer itself becomes universal, and it's open to whatever the situation is.
Okay,
so
well,
I understand what you want to pinpoint in that, but
yeah, that was my point.
Just something he don't feel comfortable talking about the issue itself.
That's fine. Then there's a way to say that, Bishop. There's a way to say I don't want to divulge that information. But go ahead, pray.
Oh, to God be the glory. Heavenly Father, we come before you this present hour. Thank you, Lord God, first of all, for our life, health, and strength, for last night's rest, this morning rise, and for the use and activities of our limbs. Lord God, we pray that you hear our voice today, Lord God, and that you move in a manner, Lord God, according to your will. We ask, Father God, will bless Badger's wife, Sarah, whatever her ailment or situation is, and whatever the findings may be. We ask, Father God, that you give her comfort and allow the professionals, Lord God, to be able to help remedy the issue that she is facing with. We also pray, Father God, to bless Raheem and his family as they begin to take their tests and give them a clear course, Father God, they may be able to move forward. But as they travel, Father God, protect them from dangers seen and unseen. That may protect us all, Father God. You have an all-seeing eye, you know all things. And all things work together for good to those of us that love you and those of us who are called according to your purpose. So, Lord God, bless DKM, bless everyone that listens, bless everyone that called in to comment. Lord God, let us have the same mind, same judgment, and love one towards another. And I pray, Father God, that when this life journey of ours does come to an end, that we're able to be in your presence and hear your welcome voice say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. This prayer we pray in your name, Christ Jesus our Lord. Amen.
Amen. It is now, what is it? 10:06. 10:06. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow to be a part of your morning. It is 10:06. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. That we shine some of this light on you from the morning glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. You'll have a great day. Get an opportunity to give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. I love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great one.